Sahana bhavatu sahana bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. So we have a question here from Surinder, verse 4. Verse 4. Surendra, there's no verses in Vedanta treatise. Verse 4. I assume you're referring to Bhagavad Gita. So verse 4. So I think you're in the wrong class today. Verse 4.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. I'll put this question
Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we are doing something that should be important to every human being. What is the culmination of our life? What are we doing over here? What are we here for? Where are we supposed to go from here? So we already studied about the light of wisdom, which spoke about what is knowledge and how to develop the intellect. And now we come to the culmination of life. I don't know if you followed the line of thought so far, what it spoke about. First, we had how to do right action. Then we had how to deal with our emotions properly. Then we had how to deal with knowledge properly. And you must be noticing, as I suppose is self-evident to everybody, that very few of us, probably none of us, are doing any of the three of this right. Our actions cause us stress. That means our actions are wrong. We're not doing them properly, because action should be pleasure. Why did action ever become stress? How did that even happen? So when action is giving me stress, any action is giving me stress, I go to work and I need a break, I need a vacation, then something's wrong in our action. So how do we correct that? We studied in the chapter on action. Then emotion. Arey baap re. Iska to pata nahi kya bole. Everybody has confused this issue beyond compare. What to make of it? I mean, we can't get along with the people whom we wish to get along. If you don't want to get along with somebody and you don't get along with that person, okay, chalo theek hai. Arey, but you want to get along with that person and it's creating such a mess. So ab kya bole? Total chaos. So please, for all those who have not figured it out, if you are having any problem at the emotional level, go back and read the chapter on emotion a billion times and think about it a trillion times. And then hopefully something will happen, some improvement will take place. And the same thing at the intellectual level. Intellectually, we get collected vast amount of information. Every one of us, I'm sure, is nothing less than like PhD level information. So much information collected from all over the world. And yet, wisdom eludes us. Our capacity to take decisions, our capacity to understand completely what is going on, just figuring out things that are happening in our own lives. You don't have to figure out the beginning of the universe, but just figure out what is happening in our own life. Difficult. But suppose you do these last three chapters properly and you manage to do all these things very well, then where is all this supposed to lead? Many of us will come to that position where our actions don't cause us stress, where our emotional life is fulfilling and not frustrating, where our knowledge benefits us and other people. We come to that point. But the question is, where is this all leading? So that's where we go into what religion is all about, into what it is that religion is supposed to do for us. Not a particular religion, but every religion is doing exactly the same thing. Except just as we messed up our actions, our emotions, our thoughts, we mess up our religion as well. Uh, I mean, which prophet came and said, "Oh, you guys, you hate each other, kill each other, fight with each other"? Did any prophet say that? Christ said, "Love one another as I have loved you." Muhammad said, um, "He is best whose best is repaying." I mean, like, listen to what everybody has said. Amazing stuff. You get goosebumps to hear what they have said. And yet, somehow, all of that leads us to fight with one another. So, just as we messed up on all those levels, we are messing up on this. So important for us to figure out what exactly is the culmination of life. What is a human being here supposed to do? Why are we even here? Why are we landed over here on this funny spaceship going round and round the sun? For what? What are we doing? So let's study the culmination of human life, the perfection of human life, the purpose of human life. Where is all this supposed to lead? Okay, so who will begin reading this?
I read it, Janiji.
Go ahead.
Chapter 8, Culmination of Human Life. The role of religion. The word religion is derived from two Latin terms, re and ligera. Re means back, again. Liger means to bind, join. Religion is meant to unite one back to one's origin, the supreme self. Every human being is born with inherent desires, which separates him from the self. The self within is the abode of absolute knowledge, peace, and bliss. So, are you born divorced from the self? Having lost the core of your personality, you have meandered into its enveloping sheets of body, mind, and intellect. You are now caught up in the maze of perceptions, emotion, and thought. Religion, divested of its dogmatic outgrowths, essentially relieves you from the persecutions of your material equipments and reveals your spiritual self. It is a mysterious process by which your mind intellect traces back and loses itself in the inscrutable source, Atman, the supreme self, the soul of all religion. Religion, therefore, is used to regain your lost identity with yourself, attain the ultimate spiritual enlightenment. Okay. Here it is said that all human beings are born with inherent desires which separates us from the self, because of which we create samsara. But the self within is the abode of absolute knowledge, peace, and bliss. And the role of religion is to unite us back to the self.
Right. So, what is the role of religion? It takes us back to the self. It's a mysterious process, inscrutable. It's mysterious. Why is it mysterious? Because it's about taking a step forward in life. And taking a step forward means taking a step into the unknown. If I want to, even suppose, let's say, I want to love everybody, for instance. Okay, so now I can only love my family, but I want to love everybody. Now, how do I take that step forward? It's mysterious. How do I make myself love somebody who I don't? It's mysterious, right? If I want more knowledge, how do I gain it? It's mysterious. If I want to understand who I really am, how am I to get something that I don't know? That's why it's a mysterious. However, it becomes more mysterious if you start jumping. But if you just take one step forward, the light will show you the way. Just take one step forward. Every one of us knows what is it we need to do to take that one step forward. What is it that I want to do? What's that next step forward? I know it. Look into yourself. You know it. Figure that one out. And when you figure that one out, you'll know the next one too. It's just about one step. It's like the headlights of the car. If you are traveling from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, your headlights are not going to show you the whole way, but they show you a few meters ahead. Follow it. And when you follow it, what happens? You'll see another few meters ahead. Follow that. But if you switch off your engine and sit anywhere, then you're not going to make it to Kashmir. So, what is religion? It is composed of two words, re and ligare. Re, you already know, everybody knows. Re means again. Ligare means to join. So, you join back to, ligare means back. So, again, back. So, you join back, you join again. You go back again. Where? How can you go back unless you've come from there, right? You're going back to something. You're not going forward into anything. You're going back into something. Back into what? Back into who you are. That's why it's so personal. The whole path is very personal. It's personal to us, to each one of us. That's why each one of us may do it very differently. We don't all have to do the same things because we haven't come out in exactly the same way. We've come out in different ways. We've created different kinds of ignorance for ourselves. Some are ignorant in terms of action, some are ignorant in terms of emotions, some are ignorant in terms of knowledge, different things. Very many different things. And therefore, what each one has to do to return is different. And that's that concept, fabulous concept of dharma. You follow your dharma, I will follow my dharma. And we will respect each other for doing our dharmas. Your dharma is different from mine. Remember that lovely poem? Which poem? Come on. I go on repeating so many times. I feel that you all know everything I've said because I said it 100 times. Which is a poem that tells us how each one has to live by his dharma. Okay, at least I know y'all are not bored with repetition, whatever else you may be bored with. Okay, so.
Is it the Nightingale and the Globe?
The east is east and the west is west, and never the twain shall meet until they both stand at God's great judgment feet. But neither east nor west. Remember that? The highwayman, the Ballad of East and West. One was a robber, and one was a colonel in the army. The robber did his dharma, and the colonel did his dharma, and they both learned to respect each other. Now, what happened here? Okay, something weird is happening on Instagram. It seems to be going off. So, what is religion? It is going back. Going back to what? What can you go back to? Only yourself. What else is there to go back to? You go back to yourself in a sort of mysterious process, in the sense that you're going to take a step into something unknown. And a very paradoxical thing, because how can it be unknown? It is you. Who will know you better than yourself? Nobody can. So it's very paradoxical to call it even mysterious or inscrutable. And yet it is. Because if you try to understand it through your intellect, it cannot be understood. It is you. You're not going to find something you're not. You're going to remove what you are not and just be yourself in your original glory. That is what you're here to do. Single thing to do. There's nothing else to do. How do you know that's the only thing to do? I have to look after my children, I have to get educated, I have to get a job, I have to make money, I have to look after this world. What do you mean I have to only go back to myself? Okay, think about it. What is it that you want at the base of all these things? You want to look after your family, right? Why do you want to look after your family? You want a degree. Why do you want a degree? You think you should look after the world. Why do you think you should look after the world? You want an ice cream. What do you want an ice cream for? You want money. What do you want money? What do you want money for? Behind every pursuit, there is only one thing pushing us, is to find comfort within. Nothing else. Just find that comfort. The only thing, feel uncomfortable. Feel uncomfortable with many things, and you try to keep them correct so that you are comfortable with it. Why is everybody screaming against lockdown? Because they believe they'll be uncomfortable. The housewives are complaining. Why? No staff. The traders are complaining. Why? No customers. Why do they want this? Just to be comfortable. A big realization in life is when we come to know that there's only one way to be comfortable, and that is to be myself. There's no other way to do this. You can change, fix, cure, solve anything in the world. The only way to be comfortable is that religious pursuit. So when you hear that, then you make your way to the temple or the church or the mosque and say, okay, I'm going to find comfort here. No, you're not. Don't go there. That's not where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to just be yourself. Remove everything that is not you, and what remains is you. You don't get yourself, right? Because you are yourself. You're nothing to get. You are yourself. Remove what is not you. What remains is you. DP Singh, yoga also means to join back to self. Is religion the same as yoga? Yes. It comes from the Sanskrit word yuj. Yes, it means exactly the same thing. Okay, so paragraph 1 is clear to everybody, which is that religion is going back to yourself. Therefore, religion means removing everything which you are not. And that becomes a mysterious process. So we need to study about it. It is inscrutable because your intellect will never figure it out. Oh no. Please give me a second. This is a bit of an irritant. There is nothing I can do about it.
Can I request Farokh to look into it, Jankiji?
Yeah, okay. Please do. I don't understand how to get this done. But he can't come in because the door is locked. Okay. Think I got it. One lives and learns. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay now. All right, so who will read the first para clear? Any problems with the first para? Go
I
on.
have a ma'am. I have a question.
Go ahead, Karan.
Ma'am, you said inscrutable means the intellect can't figure it out. So the role of contemplation in figuring it out. I'm unable to figure this out.
Karan, your intellect can figure out the next step, but your intellect cannot figure out the self. The last, what you are, your intellect cannot know, because only when your intellect is no more, you will be who you are. But your intellect can figure out. All your contemplation is to only tell you your next step.
Understood. Thanks.
Okay, so who will read the next paragraph? Sarah, I can see you. Will you read the next paragraph?
Sure, Sister Janki. This state, can you hear me, Sister Janki?
Yes.
Can you, okay. This state of being lies within you. Your self, Atman, Brahman, is supreme. You will have to transcend the limitations of your body, mind, and the intellect to reach yourself. The sense organs of the body cannot perceive it, nor the emotions of the mind feel it, nor the thoughts of the intellect conceive it. Yourself is the subject, not the object of experience. Hence, you cannot contact the self with your material equipments. You can only become the self by pursuing the spiritual path. Like the dreamer becoming the waker, the dreamer also cannot perceive, feel, or conceive the waker with the dream body, mind, and intellect. The dreamer can only transform himself into the waker. The role of religion is to bring about the transformation from the waking state to self-realization. That is the goal of human existence. You then become all-knowing, all-blissful. So yourself, the Atman is supreme, all-knowing, all-blissful, and it is the subject, not the object of experience. And just like the dreamer cannot perceive or feel or conceive the waker with his dream body, mind and intellect, similarly, you, the waker, cannot contact the self through your material equipments. The goal of human existence is to get back to the self, and the role of religion is to transform you from the waking state to self-realization. Sorry, Sister Janki, it's a very long summary.
No problem, but you said the important line, which is the subject. It is the subject within you. This is very, very important to understand, because if it's the subject within you, how are you going to understand it? If you understand something, listen to that carefully. If you understand something, it becomes the object of your understanding, right? So if it is the subject, how do you understand it? The moment you understand something is object. So if you understand God, you made it objective. Can't do it like that. So therefore, it is not about understanding something. It is about removing something. And whatever is left is your state. Remove all the unnatural outgrowths. Remove it. All the selfishness, all unnatural outgrowths, all the agitation, unnatural outgrowth, ignorance, unnatural. Remove all this rubbish. And what remains is you, pure, blissful, joyful, wise, supreme. Remove all the rubbish. Remove the ego, the arrogance. Remove the justifications. Remove the escapism. Remove all the rubbish that you're collecting. All of us have very beautiful houses. But if we crowd them with all sorts of rubbish, then the solution is not to get good pieces in. The solution is throw out the rubbish. Almost anybody will have a beautiful house if they can throw out the rubbish. It's so simple, right? It's all about removal. It's not about addition. So what is the most important thing in this paragraph that we learned? That the self is the very subject in us. It is never the object. So you do not understand it. You just return to being who you are. Okay? And that is godhood. That is religion. That is the culmination of human existence. Just being who you are. Okay. Who will read the next paragraph? Brinda, I can see your video is on. Are you going to read the next one?
Your body, mind, and intellect transact pleasure, love, and knowledge. But they cannot provide you with ultimate satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment in life. The more the pleasures your body indulges in, the more you seek. Likewise, the more love your mind is involved in, the more you want. So, does your intellect crave for more and more knowledge? There is no end to sensual gratification, emotional contentment, or intellectual satisfaction. Hence, all the happiness derived from material equipments is limited, wanting. You can never find satiation through these avenues. For attaining the absolute happiness, you will have to go beyond the precincts of your body, mind, and intellect and reach the self within. Therein lies the absolute happiness that you seek in vain in the external world. So it says that material happiness, material satisfaction is temporary and it can never fully make us blissful. Only absolute happiness only lies when you try to reach the self within.
It doesn't say it is temporary, Brinda.
Okay, it is. It says that it provides you with. It cannot provide you with ultimate satisfaction. So, which means
Cannot
it is.
give you the satisfaction. You feel it will give it to you, but it doesn't.
Yes.
That's the whole deal about it. And the more you get, the more you want. You know, I don't know if you're all aware. I mean, it would probably be largely true that almost every man believes that his wife spends too much. My husband believes so, and all the women I speak to also say that their husbands say that they spend too much. Okay, so now it's amazing how little does your wife have to spend for you to think she spends little, isn't it? All wives believe that my husband pays me no attention. All wives. So how much attention does he have to pay us for us to think that he's paying us attention? Interesting, no? Like at what stage do you say, this is fine, this much is enough? Who will? When will we? No matter how much we get, it is it is our nature to see one step more. It's the nature. You can't help it. If you had an income of 25 crores a month, what do you think you will look at? Won't you be wanting the 30 crores a month? So today, if my income is 25,000 a month, I will still want 30,000 a month. If my income is 2,500 a month, then I still want 3,000 a month. It's interesting, right? You won't find it there. It's even to call it temporary is a compromise. The fact is you won't find it. It's a fact. Because it is the nature of the mind to see the next step. Do you think that there's a single person in this world who cannot see the next step? A single person? Just the next step. Whatever my income is, I can see the next step. Whatever is my physical body, I can see the next step. Sarah goes hiking in the mountains. Okay, so those who don't go hiking in the mountains will say, I wish I could go like Sarah hiking in the mountains. But what does Sarah think? Does she think that that's it? No, she'll think, oh, why can't I go faster? Why can't I go higher? Why can't I something or the other? This is the nature. How can you help it? If you have read 25,000 books, do you say I've read 25,000 books? Or is your attention on the next book to be read? Can't I found it? This is what is so difficult for us to understand. It is impossible. Absolutely impossible. Tejal, does that mean being ambitious is not good or it will lead to agitation? Being ambitious is very good. Ambition is always to be appreciated because the opposite of ambition is stagnation. Now Karan is going to ask me, you say both. One hand you say you see the next step, problem. Then you say ambition is to be appreciated. Ambition has to be differentiated from seeing the next step. Seeing the next step is called greed. Ambition is something quite different. Now these are words and different speakers, different authors, different books will be defining them in different ways. That is why we all have to learn how do you know what you know, because the first thing you do is you start identifying what each word means when we're using it. So looking at this next step means pitching your happiness to the next step. Having ambition means you have decided to put your life to some use which is going to come in the distant future, and you're going step by step towards that point, whatever that point be. Looking at the next thing is called desire. Ambition has to do with goals and ideals. Desire lies in the mind. Ambition, goals, ideals, they lie in the intellect. The intellect doesn't see one step ahead. Intellect sees many, many steps ahead. The day you think, I need to get married, if you think like that, I need to get married, the intellect will see 30 years into the future. The mind will say, oh, this is such a lovely person, I have to marry this person, come on, let us get married and get all involved in the wedding ceremony, and then the ceremony will be some destination wedding, and it'll have some ups, it'll have some downs, and then there's a lot of joy if it's very nice, and a lot of misery if something goes wrong, and then you come to the honeymoon, and again, if something is very nice, it's huge ecstasy, and if it's very bad, there's, oh, it's horrible, we have to wait at the airport for 25 hours. This is one, every step. And then, oh my God, I have to put my child in the, whatever, these parents go crazy. I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world, but in Mumbai, oh my God, getting a child into preschool, you have to pull strings. And people call me also. They say, you know, so many people help my child get into this KG, not even KG, preschool. Every step of the way. There's so much agitation, so much problem. And then if the child has to get to IIT or medical, pray. All the parents, the men have all lost their hair and the women have all gone grey. So much trouble. Instead of that, when you think the first thought, I should get married, you immediately understand it means house, children, occupation, money, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, depending on how long I go on for, this will go on. This is what I'm entering. I must know what I'm entering. And then decide whether I wish to enter that. And when I enter that field, many of my choices are going to be close to me. I must know all this before I get in, right? That's called having an intellect. I know what's going to happen as a concept. Not know as in I'm going to predict every single thing that happens. But no, I have broadly an understanding of what is this thing that I am saying I want. So goals means my intellect was engaged. I saw 10, 20, 30 years into the future. Desire means, ये मिलेगा तो मैं कितना खुश होगा, ये मिलेगा तो और खुश होगा. That kind of immaturity, let us say. The goal does not tell you that I will make you happy if you attain this goal. It doesn't talk to you like that. The desire talks to you like that. Oh, ye milega to kitna acha hoga. So excited to get this. And then you don't get it and so dejected. Or you get it and you're so excited. And get so excited and what? Immediately see the next one. And again start the whole process again. So is that clear, Teja? In brief, desire is of the mind, goals and ambition is of the intellect.
Okay, so ambition should always be accompanied with intellect.
No, you call it ambition only if there is intellect.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so the body, mind, intellect transact with pleasure, love, and knowledge. So what does the body do? It wants the pleasures from where? Sense objects. What does the mind do? It wants pleasures from what? From emotions, from love. Why do husbands and wives fight? Have you ever thought about this? Why do husbands and wives fight? What is the big fight about? You chose somebody, right? Nobody pushed this person on you. No, mine was an arranged marriage. But even arranged marriage, you still have to say yes, no. Did anyone tie you up and marry you to that person? You said yes. You said, okay, this person seems fine. And you said yes. Okay, so you chose to marry somebody. Now, obviously you must have liked that person. Now, what are you fighting with that person for? What's the fight about? There's only one fight. You are not giving me the pleasure which I thought I was going to get by marrying you. That's the only fight. But if you thought that I will be so happy by marrying this person, you were wrong in the first place. Isn't it? I'm not trying to be rude, but isn't that so? Is your job in your life to give me pleasure? Is that what you're here for? Is my job in my life to use you as a source of pleasure? Is that what I'm here for? Then the base is wrong. How can anything be correct after that? So what is the right base of marriage? What is the right base?
What can I do for you?
What are you going to give in the marriage?
You're right, Reshma. That's why I think you're unmarried. Because you realize that काम करना पड़ेगा. When you get married, please understand, मुझे ही काम करना पड़ेगा. कोई कुछ नहीं करने वाला. नहीं कितना अच्छा होगा मेरा हस्बैंड मेरा वाइफ ये करेगा कुछ नहीं हमको ही काम करना है. So if you want to have a happy marriage, there's a very, very simple formula. Understand why you're married. You are married because your particular ignorance has told you that marriage is necessary for you. You're ignorant, therefore you think like that. You're very fortunate because some idiot in this world thought you would be a good spouse. They were wrong about that, obviously. Right? So your feeling towards that idiot should be
Grateful.
Gratitude.
Grateful.
gratitude. Thank God, Baba, ek to koi mujhe mila. Otherwise, how would I exhaust my desire for marriage? Somebody at least was foolish enough to think that I was worthy of being married too. So now that you have married me, what will I do? I will be grateful towards you and I will serve you. Because of you, I'm getting to exhaust my desires for marriage, my madness, my mad concept about marriage requires that I get married, and you agreed to this, so I thank you. And because I thank you, I serve. If a married couple looked at each other like this, are they ever going to fight? If they do fight, it's a clear indication that there is no
Gratitude.
gratitude. See, Reshma, all these unmarried people all know all about marriage. I don't know what happens after they get married. I think I have to catch hold of everybody before marriage only. And then I will have less work to do. Just gratitude to your spouse. Thank you. Thank you. 3 times a day you gave me some food on my plate. Or thank you. You provided enough funds that I could buy the vegetables to make the food. You gave me a good house. Whatever. How much our spouses do for us. But all we can think is what they don't do. And the reason we think of what they don't do is because
Our desire.
We have forgotten what they have done.
Expectations.
is because
Basically, na share capital में transfer of share हो गया है from PT के partners. So that is there, and in the middle.
what I can't understand a word of what you just said.
We don't focus on what they do.
Why do you see what they don't do?
No gratitude. So
There's no gratitude because you're not seeing it. But why are you seeing what they don't do? Why do you see that?
Because you are blinded by your likes and dislikes, and you expect the same from your spouse.
Why is it?
Correct assessment.
Expectations.
Because you want more.
Expectations.
Because it's the nature of the mind. You people forgot what is the topic we're discussing. What's so involved? Marriage means everybody gets involved. What is the point we're discussing? The point we were discussing is that at any stage you can see more, right? That's the point we're discussing. We believe that we will get happiness by getting X. As soon as you get X, you will see the happiness at Y, and the moment you get Y, you'll see the happiness at Z. So no matter how good your spouse is, no matter how wonderful, no matter how descended from the gods they are, you will always see the thing that they do not do, because it's the nature of the mind to see that one step forward. Suppose a woman is complaining that her husband doesn't give enough attention to her. Oh, he's too busy. He never pays attention to me. He never goes with me anywhere. He never takes me out for dinner. Suppose she says that. Inherent in the fact that she says that, inherent in that fact is, you know what? When she's complaining that he is just busy at work and doesn't take her out to dinner, inherent in that is he has given her sufficient funds to have dinner at home. Inherent in that is he is working. Inherent in that is he's not an alcoholic. Isn't it? Because if he was an alcoholic, she would not be saying he doesn't take me out to dinner. She would be saying he's an alcoholic. So when he's an alcoholic, she says he's an alcoholic. She grumbles. She says he should not be one. And we will all agree. Who will say, no, you should be married to an alcoholic? We'll all agree. Okay, so he's not an alcoholic. He's just going to work and he's not giving you attention. Then what will you say? He's not giving me attention. And we'll all agree. Arey, you got married to her, you should pay her some attention. We'll agree, right? At what stage will we not agree? At every stage it will appear that the next stage is going to be pleasure. This is the nature of the mind. This is how our own mind is tricking us. This is how we are led astray and we are sent off on a wrong track. Please understand right now that It is not by the accomplishment of the next step that we are going to find the pleasure. If we have to find the pleasure, we have to
Go back.
go back. Very good, Alka. Go back. Go back. Go back to the self. That's the only way. Now, here's where your mind will start helping you. Remember, it's the nature of the mind to see the next step. So if you are able to put your mind on the right track, it will see the next step on the right track, which will serve you well. So use the nature of the mind. Don't say, oh, my mind is so horrible. Use it. It will work well for us. Start purifying yourself. And what will you see? You'll see the next step there. And then you'll purify further. And then what will you see? You'll see the next step there. You'll purify further. Use it. It is a great gift to us of nature that our mind can see the next step. We don't have to criticize it for seeing it. We have to understand its nature and redirect it. That process is known as revision. I hope that's clear.
Jankiji, so does the mind see the next step or crave for the next step?
Both. You can't crave something you can't see.
Okay.
So if you can use, all these things that we call bad about us, they're not bad about us, they're just misdirected about us. Because everything we have is wonderful. And if we only knew how to use it properly, it'll be super. I used to know this lady, she was very artistic. And she was amazing insofar as how she has that ability to put things somewhere. Okay? She was a housewife, but extremely artistic. So she would get maybe the, like a gift from somebody. It'll come with some wrapping or something, some ribbon or something. And she'd take that ribbon and she'd put it somewhere in her house. And suddenly that would look like really beautiful. What would we have done with the ribbon? Or chucked it. Or if you're a good Indian, you will wrap it around and you put it in a drawer somewhere and then have 100 drawers with 100 little bits of pieces. But she didn't do that. She took that piece, whatever it was, put it somewhere in the house and somehow it looked good. It was as good as getting a new bouquet. Amazing, right? You're able to just put something in the right place and something which was so wrong suddenly becomes right. So all these habits of your spouse which you criticize, it's only our ability not to put them in the right place. All the habits about ourselves, our children, our staff that we criticize is only our inability to put them in the right place. People don't understand that husband and wife means that here's a team. And if my husband or wife has some abilities that I don't, it works well for the team. If my wife is a very intelligent person, then it works well for the team, right? If she's a dumb person, that also works well for the team. So both work. You must know how to make it work. But you can't because
nature of mind, expectations.
Because you're too busy trying to extract pleasure from it. You're too busy. Your mind is occupied. And is it giving me pleasure or is it not giving me pleasure? Mind is only occupied in that. It's not occupied in placing things properly, in using your head, in being mature about it. And what could have been your what should I say? Your virtue becomes your vice. You could be a very aggressive person, and that works for the team because you require aggressive people at the right time. You could be a very diplomatic person, and that works for the team because diplomatic people are. But somebody has to know where to put which plug. If nobody knows that, that's what the chaos is about. Does the mind do placing things in the right place? No, it's the intellect that does that, Varsha. Yes. Because what the mind does is craves pleasure. And in its blind craving for pleasure, it sees one step ahead and says, okay, when I get that, I'll be happy. This is the nature of the mind. Okay. So now this being the nature of the mind, you can use it to your advantage. You can use this also to your advantage. Just put the mind in the right place, put the mind into purification, and then the mind will say, oh, look, this is so bad about me. Let me improve this also, and this also, and this also. And you'll be on your journey. But no, I won't improve that. What will I do? I'll say, oh, my husband is like that, my child is like that, my staff is like that, the government is like that, the corona is like that. Ari, corona being there, use no. You can use even that. You can use everything. Corona being there, by the way, just understand this, has been like a boom for people studying Vedanta. Where would people from all over the world be studying Vedanta otherwise? So why are we all the time criticizing something? Why don't we use it for our welfare? It's not that tough, Don't criticize it. Think, how can I use it in some sensible manner, which is in the welfare of all, which is good for everybody? Everything can just be positioned properly, and then everything is beautiful. And the same thing in the wrong position. Yeah, totally. So, what is this advice to us? It's not advice, he's telling us a fact. Take it or leave it. If you try to seek pleasure out of those things, you're not finding them. Full stop. Get it? No, I really like gulab jamun and I get it. I feel very happy. Who will tell us? Who will explain to our minds this is not true? It's just not true. Not true. Who is going to explain it? No, what do you mean not true? When I got a child, I felt so happy. Yeah? How are you feeling now? Can't believe it. Just won't believe it. But the truth won't change because we don't believe it. Some people say, oh, you people are very pessimistic. You all say everything is sorrow. No, we say everything is joy. You are saying that everything is sorrow. And the reason we all keep saying everything is sorrow is because we're pursuing joy. When you pursue the self, everything is joy. You're not pursuing joy, it is joy. You feel joyful, you feel comfortable, you feel happy, you feel all is okay. God's in his heaven and all's fine with the world. But to do that, you have to swallow one basic fact. And that basic fact is
Swadhyay.
That's an instruction. What's the basic
The
fact?
self. I am the self.
Okay, that's too high a fact. That's also a fact.
Don't
Basic
follow
fact.
the mind.
That's an instruction. What's a fact? What happened? इतना बोलने के बाद किसी को कुछ पता नहीं है.
Don't run after comfort.
This is an instruction. What's a fact?
Go back to yourself.
What?
Joy lies within you, not outside.
Okay. The fact is, where is that line gone? Your body, mind, and intellect transact pleasure, love, and knowledge. But they cannot provide it to you. They cannot provide you with that pleasure, with that ultimate satisfaction. They cannot do it. You don't have the ability to do it. Who's believing you? Nobody's believing you. Nobody's hearing you. Forget it. Forget belief. Nobody heard it. The objects of this world, beings or things, cannot provide you satisfaction. The objects of the world, beings or things, cannot provide you satisfaction. They don't have the capacity. If you think they have the capacity, it is only
Temporary. Temporary.
it is only
Temporary.
it is only
Delusion.
delusion. Very good, Deepa. It is only delusion. It is ignorance. There is nothing there. There is no water in the mirage. When somebody tells you, they know, but I can see the water. So the person tells you that is delusion. That's a mirage. It is not there. You may think it is there. It is simply not there. Get that. Just get it. Can't wrap our heads around this. It just can't. Very tough. Okay, so we'll read.
Janki
Hanji,
ji, what explains that artificial spike in happiness when people have a child or get married?
artificial spike. Good usage, Bharat. When you are when you're craving for something, you're longing for something, you agitate the mind. When you obtain that object, whatever it be, that craving, that agitation subsides. So you say that that object gave me the pleasure. But all that happened was that you had created agitation and then the agitation subsided. It is something like there was a very placid lake, you throw in a stone, so ripples are formed. After some time, the ripples settle down. And you say, oh, look, how beautiful, a placid lake. This is the madhouse going on here. I will agitate myself, thinking this is very important, I have to get it, I have to get it, I have to get it. I get very agitated. And I get it. And I get relief. Mil gaya. Think of it also like this. Here's another example. This is my hand, it's free. And I take a vice and I put my hand into some kind of vice. Okay, hold it. And I'm pressing it, pressing it, it's hurting, pressing, it's hurting me because I'm pressing it so hard. Then I leave it. The pain is subsided. Pain is gone. I'm experiencing relief. I say that my hand is now pain-free. Oh, how wonderful, my hand is pain-free. Just hold it for a minute. Before I put my hand in the vice, my hand was pain-free, I didn't call it happiness then. I'm calling it happiness now. Why am I calling it happiness now? Because I just made it more painful and then I removed the pain. Anything can become happy like that. That's your artificial spike.
Okay, thank you.
Madhouse, no? Absolute madhouse. And you're so convinced about it. So one day we have agitated ourselves, I want a child. Then the child comes, that agitation goes. Then I agitate myself. I have to get the child into school. I get the child into school and the agitation goes. I say, oh, getting the child into school, I was so happy. But think about it. I'm longing for a mango. I get a mango. I eat the mango. I feel nice. Means what? I return to the same state I was before the longing for the mango. If I didn't have a longing for the mango and you give me a mango, will it give me any of this artificial spike of happiness? It cannot. It has no power to do that. It is my longing and my reducing the longing that makes for this thing. It's a madhouse. See it, whoever has the eyes to see. Or don't see it and go through it. What else can be done? Isn't it? And on that depressing note, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Janki ji.
Hari
Thank you, Janki ji.
Thank you, Sister Janki.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Janki.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om.
Very,
Very
very
much.
Janki ji.
Hari Om.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Janki ji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hari
Janki
Om,
ji.
Janki
Hari Om,
ji.
Janki.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Janki.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Hari Om.